So I was asked if I could show you just some F2L cases some more, where, for example, the edge or the corner is in the slot either correctly or incorrectly oriented. So this is my video on that. I hope you like it. If you haven't already seen the first part of this installment about how to solve F2L, the first two layers, and you don't know how to do that, I suggest you watch that first because that will make things clearer for you. If not, let's get on with the first case. So in this case, you'll notice that the edge is flipped, which means that you're definitely going to need to do some kind of F move to reorient the edge. You won't be able to insert just by using R moves and U moves with this case here. Now, there's a number of ways to deal with this. What I would do is, if I haven't completed this back slot, let's see, I haven't, what I would do is I would use the corner here. I'd bring out the edge, and then I'd reinsert the edge, and then I'd line up the bottom layer again. Basic keyhole technique, that one. So that's how I deal with that. If I had already filled this slot, let's say I had, what I would do is I would do an R, a U prime, R prime, which takes it out and separates them in one go. Then I would rotate. Now, which way you rotate depends on which which slots you still need to do. So if you need to do this one, then it's worth rotating here because it gives you greater visibility. If, for example, you hadn't completed this slot yet, it's worth rotating that way. But I would rotate this way, and now I would do an L prime, U2, L, that pairs it up, U, L prime, U2, L, and that will pair that one up. So in this case, you notice the edge is already correctly inserted, which means you don't need to cube rotate at any point during the solving of this, but the edge is misaligned. The white sticker is facing out. So what you do is an R, U prime, R prime, to take it out and separate it. Then you're left with this case on top, which you should know how to deal with. Line up the blue, bring up the slot, move the corner over the edge, bring it back up, and then insert it as you would normally. Now in this case, if you haven't solved this back slot, it's very simple to insert this with an R prime, U2, R2, and then U, R prime, and it's in the slot. If you had solved this corner, if this one was full, this slot, it kind of depends on edge control. If you had all yellows up here, a yellow sticker on this edge facing you, the rotationless insert is R, U prime, R prime, U, R, U prime, and that pairs it up, and then you just insert as normal. So that's that case. In this case, the corner is in the slot, the edge is out. If the bottom colour is facing you, you can just line up the edge with its respective colour, and the R, U prime pairs it up because it's that simple case of hiding the edge. You bring it back onto the top layer and insert normally. Now let's say here you've got the corner inserted, but this time instead of the white facing you, it's facing out, and you're looking at the edge there, and the edge is this orientation, so you can line it up with its colour on the side rather than in front. What you can do is place it so it is lined up with its respective colour, and then it's R, U, R prime, and that sets up this case, which you know how to insert already, R, U, R prime. Now in this case the corner's in, the edge is facing out as before, but the edge is flipped so that it lines up with its respective colour on the front rather than on the side, and so you just bring it round so it lines up with its respective colour, and you've paired up the edge when you bring the corner up out of the slot. Now you'd need to either cube rotate or sledgehammer. I would cube rotate probably. If I had other slots to fill because it gives me a view of the cube. If not, it would depend on edge control. So that's what I would do in that case. Now you know this case from the standard beginner's method. The corner is already correctly inserted and the edge is there, so you line it up with its respective edge, move it round, bring the corner up, move it back round, and it will pair them up when you bring the slot back down. Now with that case, let's say you have the corner with correctly inserted, the white is facing down in a different slot to what it's meant to be in. You can still use the exact same way to pair it. If it's in an adjacent slot, then what you need to do is line it up, not with its own colour, but away from its own colour. So this is red, it's not lined up with red. And you bring it away and then match it up exactly the same as the beginner's method. This case, the edge is in its correct place, the corner is on top with the white sticker facing up, and this is one of the few algorithms you sort of learn. It's just the sex you move 3 times, so RU, R prime, U prime, RU, R prime, U prime, RU, R prime. Now this case is tricky because you've got the edge and the corner paired up. So what I would do is I would use edge control here, which is easier to show you on this other cube. So here you notice that I've got the exact same case as this. I've only got one of my top layer edges correctly oriented, all the rest are not. So what I'd be thinking is, how can I use edge control? So I would make sure that when I take this out, the edge I put in to this slot is a wrong one to begin with, like that. Just remove it, and then you cube rotate, and you want to push out another edge when you put that one in, and that gives you, rather than a dot case, an L case. So here is the same thing again, but in this time I've got 1, 2, 3 of the edges oriented, just this one isn't. Now if I were to take this out with an R, I couldn't then put this one in, because I couldn't do it without disturbing the pair. So if I took it out with an R, this corner is next to the bad edge, so I couldn't then put this bad edge in the place. So what I could do is I could take it out, cube rotate first, take it out like that, do U2 to bring the edge in, cube rotate back, and then insert as normal. In this case the corner is in incorrectly, which means you'll need to cube rotate, and the edge is on top like so. I would just move the edge away, and then I can hide this corner at the same time as bringing the edge out, like so, with an R. Now I need, when this corner comes back up, I need, because it's an opposite case, this edge to be here. So I bring it around to here, bring the edge back up, and I've set up the standard opposites case, which you can insert like that. In this case, you notice that the opposites, the edge is inserted incorrectly. This means that you're going to have not an opposites case on top, but a same colour case. Both the red will be on top here. So how I would do that is I just do a U, so that they're separated, bring the edge up with an R, U again, R prime, cube rotate, and now it's an L prime, U2, L, line them up, U, bring the slot up, and insert like so. So hopefully you found this video useful. If you did, please like and hit the subscribe button, and have a nice day. Bye bye.